here we go. 8.15 guide. I tried to upload it twice but didn't work. So here we go. 8.15 Teemo build. Starting items, I start with either Doran Shield, Doran's Ring, or Boots. One of those three items. Depends on the matches. But mainly Boots, I go against Darius or Garen, or even like Singed, or junglers that likes to camp me a lot. Right? So the Boots start is probably the safest start. And that Doran's Ring is probably the highest damage. It's really good for damage if you think that you're fine against the junglers. And Doran Shield, I think probably the most defensive when you cannot kite them. There are matches where you cannot kite them, like Renekton or Riven stuff. I think Doran Shield is pretty good against that. Wukong or Jax. Let me lower the music a bit. Alright, so that's the starting item. In Boots, I get to finish it with a Sork, Ninja Tabai, or Mercury Tread, safety boost. Depends on the situation. If possible, I recommend the Sork shoes. If you're going even in the laning phase against the bruisers, I recommend the Ninja Tabai. If you're going even against the mages, well, like a CC mages, like a Cannon, Ryzen, Mercury Treads. If you're winning really hard, then Sork shoes. And safety is pretty good against like certain matches like Nasus and Singed. Probably those are top two. The Teemo core items are like now Nature and Liandry. That's it. The other 4 items or 3 items are pretty optional, and there are the optional items. More Lamicon. So you may say, hey, at Aurelia level 6, she has so much burst damage. What am I supposed to do? Currently, I run a double Ruby Crystal. Double Ruby Crystal first, and then I work on a Nature just next time. Yeah. So double Ruby plus Ninja Tabai against Aurelia, Riven, Jax, Renekton, Wukong, those type of stuff. So I buff up my tankiness and I work on Nature. If possible, then you could also build an Arm Guard too. That will give you more buffness against the Bruiser, 80 Bruisers type. Then what about the 8-Pipe Bruiser? 8-Pipe Bruiser has so much magic damage that can burst you down. I mean, Mercury Tread is also optional there. And you could build a 1 Magic Mantle. Yeah. Or if you think that as long as that you win the lane phase, then you're good, then you could just work on a Wit's End. Wit's End is another optional item. I don't recommend it too much, but you could get it. Yeah, against like Rumble, Rise, even Cassiopeia, I think Wit's End works okay-ish. This is something that I recommend too much, but ZZ Rod is also another item. If you cannot even last hit the minion, you're getting denied so hard, then ZZ Rod. This is last option. I don't recommend you to get to this point to get a ZZ Rod, but there are situations that happens. So yep. So these two are the core. First Nature, finish, and then second the Liandry. That's it. And then so double Ruby Crystal, one of a Ruby will going for Warlamika in the late game. So that's where the double Ruby is going for. And yeah, that's what it is. Hourglass, you know when to get the Banshees, Hourglass, or even QSS is that cap. Yep. Mostly you wanna work on your defensive stats first, and then grab your offensive stats. So I end up getting a Voice Staff very later stage, or even the Death Cap. And this is a LCK Teemo build. You rush the Luden's Echo first, and then get a Codex, and then Liandry. So these two provides you 30% cooldown reduction just from the items, just these two. And then the other 15% cooldown reduction will be given from the runes, Transcendence plus Cosmic Insight. So that will give you a 45% CDR at this stage at the Codex. And then you're gonna amp up the Teemo's trap damages with the Liandry at the end. So you place all the traps on the map, and then you amp up the damage with the Liandry. That's what it is. LCK optional items are these items. I don't think I've seen a Death Cap yet. I saw the Banshees and Hourglass, and the Voice Staff. I think I've seen more Lamicon too. Yeah, I haven't seen a Death Cap from them, but I think Death Cap is definitely optional too. Good idea. This Codex is going for Hourglass or Banshee, one or the other. LCK Teemo. This is a bot lane Teemo, by the way, not a top lane Teemo. I've tried this on a top lane. It doesn't work. Well, please don't do it on the top lane. Yeah, you'll go end up feeding. It's too squishy. Bot lane APC Teemo. Yeah, you need a support that can support you really well. And is it gonna work well in solo queue? I don't think so. It's not even 50-50. It's a 30%, I think, based on my experience. Then why do they do it in LCK? They only pick it like So far they picked it only twice versus Ezreal, versus very good opponent to face against. So there is that. Easy opponents pretty much. So Summonery plus Domination. This is the rune that I suggest versus a Poke type champions like a Rise, Rumble, Cannon, those range poke champions where you get to poke them, then they get to poke you too. Swain, yeah, those type of matches. I recommended a Summonery which provides you the highest poke damage as a Teemo in the laning phase. Not a burst damage wise, a consistent high poke damage, plus the domination, the high sustain as you're dealing with damage. Yep. And this one, the second rune is a poke plus melee, Summonery plus a resolve tree on a secondary. This is like a champion that does a pretty okay poke, but at the same time pretty good at melee. Jace, Pantheon, Camille, they have a range poke type that can trade against you, but then at the same time they have also all in with the melee too, right? Pantheon can jump onto you, Jace can jump onto you with the melee, or Camille can also jump onto you with, you know, the jump. But they also have a high poke trades. In that case, we do get to have a poke damages, or like a Summonery, but then instead of a sustain, we gave a defensive stats, which are these. You could also grab the second wind plus the one play. This is probably the best for the laning phase, but if you are worrying about the late game HP, then you could get an overgrowth. I think it really depends on the matches. If you have to just crush the laning phase, or you have to survive in the laning phase focus, then I recommend second wind. It's easier to solve with the second wind. If not, you're okay in the laning phase, you worry about the late game, their high burst damage, then overgrowth. Yeah, depends. And that goes same thing for here too. If you're worrying about the laning damage and Scorch, I do recommend a Scorch at this current meta, but Gathering Storm is much better in the late game. This one, I think I just probably go with the second wind too. Nowadays, games are ending in 20 to 25, and it's very fast-paced games. And lastly, this is versus melee champions that doesn't have a poke. So what are the champions like that? Renekton, Riven, Aurelia. I guess Aurelia has a bit of poke with her stun, but I don't think Aurelia would use a stun for poke. If you do get hit by the stun, then she will go jump onto you. So those like only melee champions that you have to only care about the meleeing. As they're meleeing you, you have to kind of kite them, and then you have to get so much defensive stats because they're just so much more damage than ranged champions do. So here you go. Grass Undying gives you a sustain plus stacks HP, second wind, sustain, bone plating, defensive stat, overgrowth, late game HP, and then a mana flow band. Every runes I'm getting a mana flow band because I'm not trying to get a Road of Ages now. Yeah. I'm not trying to get a Road of Ages now. Darius, yeah, Darius is one of them too. Good one. Garen is also one of them. Yep. So that's what it is. Not every matches follows this strategy of the 3 runes. So poke melee and melee. But generally that's how I do it. Yeah, nowadays. And I'm not trying to get a Road of Ages at all, because Road of Ages is actually pretty solid, yet its power spike is too late. By the time the Road of Ages is effective, the game is already ended. So, yeah. LCK Teemo, last rune page, the bot lane Teemo. Summonery Mana Flow Band, Transcendence instead of Celerity. I get a Celerity on my runes, but Transcendence for the LCK Teemo. Scorch, and Inspiration on the second. Cookie plus the Cosmic Insight. So, Cosmic Insight plus Transcendence provides a 15% CDR, like I said. With the items that's providing you 30% CDR, you get a 45% CDR. So, hey, why do you have to worry about the sustain or defensive stats at the top lane, but why don't you have to worry about that as a bot lane? Might be the question. Well, because the bot lane Teemo, you could have the teleport. Yeah, you can get the teleport. Top lane Teemo, I'm currently getting Ghosts. It's kind of weird, right? How I used to grab the teleport all the time on top lane. Nowadays, I'm not grabbing teleport on the top lane. I get a Ghost or Ignite, depends on the matches. Mostly Ghost though. 90% times Ghost, 10% Ignite. 10% Ignite that I get is like versus a Quinn, who I could like just one-shot them. Like I have one-shot potential Ignite, Quinn match is like one of them. She's very squishy. I could just auto Q, ignite it, she's dead. But in the bot lane, I do recommend the teleport because there's often time that you cannot really control your lanes. If their jungler forces you, or you get to lose your 2v2, then you have to base and come back to the bot lane as soon as possible. Because you got a 5% CDR on the summoner spell through Cosmic Insight too, so having a teleport, which is a 6 minutes cooldown on the teleport, what is that? So 360, you just gotta multiply 5 seconds to 4, so 20 seconds reduced on the summoner spell. That's good, that's okay, yeah. So I do recommend the teleport on the bottom, and they did grab the teleport on the bottom in the LCK, by the way. Both games, 2 games they did played. And Cookie Sword is sustain. Or Biscuits. Yeah. So that's it. Those are the 4 runes. 3 runes for the top lanes and 1 rune for the bot lane. Oh, you don't have to be so defensive because you have a support. You have a support. Yeah. So yeah, that's a 5.15 guide, and I hope you guys enjoy following this strategy. Yep. And I'll play the game.